Ar Awst y 4, 1972, adleisiodd cyhoeddiad Ias Oer ar draws tonfeddi Uganda. Cyhoeddodd yr arlywydd Idi Amin bod rhaid i bob asiaid adael Uganda o fewn 90 diwrnod.
Last Friday, I announced the decision of my government to ask the British government to take over responsibility for the British citizens of Asian origin living in Uganda who were sabotaging the economy of this country.
Ar ôl cymryd ei holl eiddo, a chaniatáu dim ond 55 punt a 2 ges, roedd teuluoedd Asiaidd yn wynebu gorfodaeth greulon gan filwyr arfog. Wrth i anrhefn ddilyn, cafodd llawer o bobl eu llofruddio, dioddefodd merched yn arbennig erchyll terau rhy anodd i'w gribwyll. Mae'r erchyll terau a ddioddefwyd ac ywelwyd yn parhau i aflonyddu ar bobl heddiw. Mae'r atgofion y rhy boenus i ail ymweld â nhw. Mai dim o ffracsiwn o boblogaeth Uganda oedd yr Asiaid, roeddent yn cynhyrchu 90% o'r refeniw treth, yn redeg siopa, ffatrioedd, ffermydd a busnesau eraill. Yn anochel, arweiniodd alltudio'r Asiaid at gwymp economi Uganda. Derbyniodd y Deyrnas Unedig 28,000 o bobl a oedd â ffasffortau Prydeinig. Derbyniodd llawer o wledydd y rhai alltudiwyd, fodd bynnag roedd llawer o unigolion eraill heb wlad i fyw ynddi, a chawsant ei gwahanu oddi wrth ei hanwyliaid. Creuwyd bwrdd adsefydlu Uganda, a sefydlwyd 1 ar 15 o wersylloedd dros dro ledled y Deyrnas Unedig, gan gynnwys yn Honfannau yng Ngwynedd. Yn wersyll i'r fyddin ar un adeg, a sefydlwyd yn 1937, roedd bellach yn gartref i 1,070 o drigolion. Roedd hyn yn cynnwys pobl y gafodd ei symud o wersylloedd eraill i donfannau. Roedd y gwersylloedd yn darparu lloches dros dro, lle gallai pobl rhannu eu profiadau yn ogystal â gobeithio'n a'i ofnau. Camodd pobl lleol i'r adwy i helpu a chefnogi. Creuwyd sawl gyfeillgarwch a chwlwm cymunedol. Fodd bynnag, roedd bywyd y pobl oedd newydd wedi cyrraedd yn adlewyrchiad o ansicrwydd a gwitnwch. Mae Chandrika Joshi a oedd yn byw yn y gwersyll yn rhannu ei hatgofion.
One of the main events was that my mother became ill and became very ill. She had rheumatic fever in the refugee camp, and of course we didn't know it was rheumatic fever, and heart was affected, joints were swollen, etc. And so my sister and I went to the medical center and said that because my mother couldn't go to the medical center, she couldn't walk because Tonfanai camp is very hilly. It's you've got to go climb a hill to go to the medical center. And the nurse said to my sister and I that it was raining a bit then, and she said, "It rains here all the time. And just because it rains, you can't turn around and say she can't come here. You've got to bring her here, otherwise no one's going to come there and see her." And we went home and told my mum that they won't come and we've got to walk over. And then we walked, my sister and I and my mother. And, my mother, you can imagine with rheumatic fever, with the acute infection with the heart, cardiac sort of affected, and walking, and my mother would walk a few steps and then stop and sit down and walk a few steps and sit down. And then a milk van passed by, and then he stopped and he said, "Shall I take you?" And we said, "Yeah." And then he took, of course, my mum to the medical center. And of course, as soon as the doctor examined her, he said, "No, you can't go home. You've got to be admitted now." She survived. She did live, but she never quite recovered. My mother had a nervous breakdown in the hospital because I think she overheard that there was a priest she's learning English, right? So she had a dictionary and she was learning English, etc. And she overheard someone talking about that there was a priest who's been involved in an accident. So that was really traumatic. And she thought, "Oh my God, we've just left the country and now a priest has had an accident. There can't be many priests around here, so it would be my husband. What's going to happen to my children?
And was it?
It wasn't my father, no. But once she had a nervous breakdown, of course, that it's difficult to get back, yeah. I would say that the earlier 5 years of our lives were really tough.
Roedd hyd yr arhosiad yn y gwersyllwydd yn amrywio. Treuliodd y rhan fwyaf o deuluoedd sawl mis I flwyddyn cyn symud I dŷ mwy parhaol, neu lle gyda sicrhawyd o gyflogaeth. Gweithaf hysbysebion I annog bobl I beidio symud I ardaloedd penodol, roedd rhai dal yn symud I fod yn agos at berthnasau neu gymunedau asiaidd presennol, a thros amser, fe wnaethant ddatblygu ardaloedd lleol bywiog a llewyrchus. Bu'r gwersyll yn hon fannau yn weithredol tan 1973. Roedd y heriau cynner yn cynnwys profi cam trin hiliol a rhagfarn agored.
Quite a large proportion of us joined the school bus which went to Dolgethlau, which was about 3/4 an hour run every morning, and then we travelled all the way back every evening. The issues there were that there were some quite strong-minded skinheads, or whatever you want to call them, with bubble boots on, jeans, and big guys. And remember, we were timid and what's going on and this fighting. It's like, okay, we grew up in a war zone, but we'd never seen that sort of thing before. And you'd get pushed from this place, and you'd feel like, hey, how dare you talk? Okay, you'd move. And that just carried on.
Gweithaf hyn, roedd llawer o Asiaid o Uganda eu cartref yng Nghymru, buont yn gweithio'n galed gan ymgymryd ag unrhyw waith oedd ar gael, mewn ffatrioedd a phyllau glo ac ar ffermydd. Sefydlodd rhai siopa, swyddfeydd post a busnesau eraill. Wrth i'r cymunedau ymgartrefu, teuluwyd llawer o adeiladau a lleoliadau crefyddol a diwylliannol. Mae hen wersyll tonfannau bellach yn dir fferm. Mae straeon, y rhai a athdwy'r gatiau yn dyst I Wydnwch yr ysbryd dynol a'i allu I addasu. O gynhyrfiad yr alltudio I Gnefyn, y term sy'n crisialu ymdeimlad o berthyn, a chysylltiad â'r tirwedd. Mae stori Asiaid Uganda yng Nghymru, Genedl Noddfa, yn siwrnau o alltudio o Wydnwch, lle mae ceiswyr lloches yn cael eu croesawu a'i cyfraniad unigryw at dapestri cyfoethog bywyd Cymru yn cael ei ddathlu.